You've been driving your Ford every single day. You know where the cup holders are. You know which gas station takes your card without fees. You probably even know exactly how many minutes it takes to warm up on a cold morning. But here's what I'd bet serious money on. Your truck has been running a generator this entire time, and you've never turned it on. It has a system that can back a trailer for you while you just point a knob. It has a feature that locks itself as you walk away without you pressing a single button. And it has a function so powerful that it can put hard limits on another driver's speed, volume, and behavior. Limits that driver cannot override no matter what they do. And most Ford owners have never touched it once. 10 functions. Already built into your truck right now. Not hidden in some dealer menu. Not locked behind a paid upgrade. Not something you have to add. They're sitting there fully operational, waiting for you to discover them, and Ford never properly told you they existed. We're covering all 10 today, and I promise you, by the time we get to number 1, you are going to look at your truck completely differently. This is Vital Ford. Let's get into it. Subscribe CTA. Before we get into function number 10, take 2 seconds right now and hit subscribe with the bell notification turned on. Every week on this channel, we dig into Ford features, hidden functions, real owner tips, and money-saving tricks that most people spend years driving without ever knowing. It's free. It takes one tap, and the next video alone might save you a tow call or a dealer fee. Subscribe now. Then let's go. Function #10. The SecuraCode keypad shortcuts most owners never bother to set up. Let's start with something almost every Ford owner walks past every single day without realizing it's capable of far more than they've ever asked of it. The SecuraCode keypad, that row of buttons on the driver's door. Most owners know it's there. Most owners know you can punch in a 5-digit code and get in without the key fob. That's where most people stop, and honestly, that's a shame because what that keypad can actually do goes well beyond basic entry. Here's what the majority of owners never set up. You can program that keypad so that the first press of your code unlocks only the driver's door. The second press opens everything else. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same layered security logic built into your key fob's unlock button, and it works just as well here. You walk up to your truck alone, you punch in the code, the driver door opens, you get in, and everything else stays locked. Until you decide otherwise. Nobody else is getting in behind you. You never had to pull out your phone or your fob. Clean, fast, and smarter than the default. But here's the part that really matters. That factory code printed on the sticker inside your door jamb, it's permanent. It never changes, which means if you've ever shared it with a contractor, a neighbor, a family member, a friend helping you move, every single one of those people still has access to your truck right now. Ford gives you the ability to create a personal code that you control completely. You can share it, change it, delete it. The factory code stays as a permanent backstop, but the personal code is yours to manage on your own terms. That's a meaningful security upgrade that most owners have simply never bothered with. Here's what you should do. Find your factory 5-digit code. It's usually on a sticker inside the driver's door jamb or listed in your owner's manual. Then go into your truck settings menu and create a personal code. While you're in there, configure the driver door only behavior for the first key press. The whole setup takes about 5 minutes. And once it's done, you'll have a smarter, more secure system than the one Ford handed you from the factory. Function #9, the global window open that almost nobody knows exists. This one produces a genuine moment of surprise almost every time someone sees it for the first time. And once you know about it, you will find yourself using it far more often than you'd expect. Here's what most Ford owners already know. Holding down the unlock button on the key fob a little longer than a normal tap will unlock all the doors at once instead of just the driver's. That part most people have figured out. But here's what almost nobody knows. On many Ford trucks and SUVs, if you keep holding that unlock button past that point, keep holding it a beat longer than you think you need to, the windows start rolling down on their own, all of them, simultaneously. While you're still walking across the parking lot. Think about what that actually solves in real life. It's August. Your truck has been sitting in a parking lot for 3 hours under direct sun with the windows up. You already know what's waiting for you in that cabin, stagnant air that's been baking at temperatures that make you wonder whether you could technically cook something in there. You could open the door, get slapped by that wall of heat, sit down on a seat that's been sitting in a solar oven, and wait for the act to drag the temperature into something survivable. Or you could hold that button down for 2 extra seconds on your walk across the lot, let every window drop before you even reach the door, let the hot air escape on its own while you cover the remaining distance, and step into a cabin that's already started breathing again. The difference is dramatic, and it was available to you the entire time. Here's what you should do. Next time you're approaching your Ford on a warm day, hold that unlock button down longer than usual. Go past the normal click and keep holding. If your vehicle supports this feature, the windows will start dropping. If it doesn't respond right away, check your vehicle settings or owner's manual for the global window open option. Some Fords require it to be enabled before it'll work. Once it's active, you will never want to give it up. Function #8, the intelligent key backup slot that gets you in when the fob dies. This is the one that always seems to surface at the absolute worst possible time. And the reason it feels like such a crisis in the moment is that most owners genuinely don't know the solution is already in their hand. Picture the scenario. You walk out to your truck, you press the key fob, nothing happens. Press it again, still nothing. Dead battery. And now you're standing in a parking lot. Maybe it's late, maybe it's raining, maybe you're already running behind with a vehicle you technically own but can't currently get into. Here's what Ford already built into your truck for exactly this moment. Almost every modern Ford with a key fob has a physical backup entry point built right into the driver's side door handle. Usually there's a small cap or cover that blends into the handle design so seamlessly that most owners never notice it at all. Under that cover is a key slot, and the physical metal blade folded inside your key fob, the one most owners have never deployed in years of ownership, slides directly into it. That device in your pocket that you've been treating like a wireless remote is also a fully functional physical key. It just doesn't look like one from the outside. Here's what you should do. Take your key fob right now and look for the small release tab on the back or side. Press it and a slim key blade slides out. Find the hidden slot on your driver's door handle. You may need to pop a small cover to see it. Do this now in your driveway when it's not a crisis. And while you're at it, pick up a spare CR2032 battery and throw it in your glove box. It costs almost nothing, it takes up no space, and it means a dead fob never has to become a full-blown emergency. Function #7, the phone ASA key backup passcode you need to set up before you ever need it. Phone as a key is one of the more genuinely impressive things on a modern Ford. The idea that you can walk up to your truck, unlock it, and start it using nothing but your smartphone, no fob required, is the kind of feature that feels like it belongs in a vehicle that costs significantly more. But here's the part that almost every owner completely skips, and it's the part that matters most when things go wrong. What happens when your phone battery dies on the way to the truck? What happens when there's a Bluetooth glitch and the app just isn't talking to the vehicle the way it should? In those moments, your truck's sync screen will prompt you for a backup pin to start the vehicle. A numeric code you were supposed to set up in advance through the FordPass app. If you never set it up, that prompt is a dead end. You have the app. You have the feature. You've been using phone as a key for months, and now you're standing in a parking garage with a dead phone and no way forward because you skipped a setup step that takes 90 seconds. Ford built in a numeric backup pin through FordPass that ties directly to your SecuriCode keypad. Even if your phone is completely dead and your fob is sitting on the kitchen counter, you can punch in that pin and get into your truck, but only if you created it before you needed it. Here's what you should do. Open FordPass right now while your phone is charged and everything is working perfectly. Find the phone as a key settings and create your backup pin. Then write that code down somewhere physical, not in your phone, because the entire point of this backup is to give you access when your phone can't help you. Set it up once today and never find yourself stranded because of a step you skipped. Function #6, the remote start climate setup that most people never configure. Remote Start is one of those features that most Ford owners feel good about having, without ever fully unlocking what it can do. And the gap between what most people get out of Remote Start and what the system is actually capable of is surprisingly large. Here's what most owners think Remote Start does. It gets the engine running before you get in. That's it. Engine on, you show up, it's warmer than it would have been. Fine. Here's what Remote Start can actually do when it's set up correctly. On a cold January morning, it's not just idling. It's running the heat, actively working to bring the cabin temperature up to your saved preference before you open the door. On a brutal August afternoon, it fires up the ACC and starts pulling the cabin temperature down immediately. And if your Ford has heated or ventilated seats or a heated steering wheel, those can be tied into the Remote Start sequence so they come on automatically too. A properly configured Remote Start doesn't just warm up the engine, it prepares the entire cab for you. And most owners are leaving every one of those extra elements completely unconfigured, getting a fraction of what the system was designed to deliver. Here's what you should do. Go into your climate settings and make sure your preferred temperature is actually saved. On FordPass connected vehicles, check the app for climate preferences tied to Remote Start. Then look into whether your heated or ventilated seats and heated steering wheel can be added to the Remote Start sequence. Many owners discover this option has been sitting in their settings for years untouched. Spend 10 minutes configuring this once, and every Remote Start after that will feel like an entirely different feature. CTA break. Before we get into the top 5, hit that like button and subscribe right now if you haven't already. The next 5 functions are some of the most useful and genuinely surprising things Ford has ever built into their trucks. And number 1 is something that will completely change how you think about what your truck is actually capable of. Don't miss it. Function #5. The Remote Start runtime extension almost nobody knows about. This is one of those small things that makes a genuinely outsized difference on the days you need it most, the days when the weather is brutal and 15 minutes of Remote Start just isn't quite enough. By default, your Ford's Remote Start session runs for a set period, typically around 15 minutes depending on your model, and then shuts itself off. Most of the time, that works fine. But on a morning when it's genuinely frigid outside, or an afternoon when the heat index is making your parking lot feel like a different climate zone, you sometimes need more time before you're ready to head out. Here's what most owners don't know. You can extend that session without going outside, without doing anything at the truck, without any complicated steps. On most Ford models, pressing the Remote Start button again before the active session ends resets the timer and gives you another full cycle. On FordPass connected vehicles, you can trigger a session extension straight from the app, from wherever you are, without moving. It is genuinely that simple, which is probably exactly why most people have no idea it's possible. Here's what you should do. Next time you have a Remote Start session running, press the button again before the timer expires. If your truck supports the extension, the clock resets. FordPass users, check the app. You can monitor and extend sessions remotely, which is particularly useful when you're in a meeting and you realize you need more time before heading to the truck. On the coldest and hottest days of the year, this capability is worth far more than the 2 seconds it takes to use it. Function 4. Walk-away locking. And why it's more useful than it sounds. The name tells you exactly what this feature does. You walk away from your Ford with the key fob in your pocket and the truck locks itself. No button press, no glancing back over your shoulder, no quiet moment of uncertainty 30 minutes later where you're wondering whether you actually remembered. You just walk away and the truck handles the rest. That description sounds almost too simple to be worth getting excited about, but think about how many times a week that specific uncertainty, did I lock the truck, actually costs you mental energy. You're in a store, you're in a meeting, you're halfway up an elevator, and somewhere in the back of your mind, the question is running. With walk-away locking active, that question doesn't exist anymore. You know. Because the truck locked itself the moment you left. On many Ford models, the experience is even more satisfying than that. As you walk away, you don't just hear the locks click, you watch the mirrors fold in. It's a quiet, physical confirmation that everything is taken care of and secure. And for a lot of owners, that moment the first time they see it is the moment they wonder how they drove without it. Here's what you should do. Go into your vehicle settings, find the doors and locks section, and enable walk-away locking. On most Fords, it's already in there and just needs to be switched on. Then, test it on your very next trip. Walk away from the truck with the fob in your pocket and wait for it. One important note, the system won't lock if it detects the fob is still inside the vehicle. That's a deliberate safety feature built in to prevent you from locking yourself out. Make sure the fob is on you when you test it. After you see it work once, you'll find yourself thinking about all the times you went back to check. Function #3, the Mikey restrictions that can catch even the primary driver off guard. Most Ford owners have at least heard of Mikey. Some have set it up, usually for a younger driver in the household. Speed limits, volume caps, mandatory seatbelt reminders. You program it, you hand over the restricted key, and you move on. But here's what a surprising number of owners don't know, including some who have used Mikey for years. The restrictions go further than most people realize, and a few of them can affect your own experience in ways you'd never expect if you set Mikey up a while ago and forgot exactly what you built into it. Mikey can require seatbelts to be buckled before the audio system will play at full volume. It can set a hard ceiling on the truck's top speed. It can block certain infotainment functions while the vehicle is moving. And here's the one that catches people. If a Mikey exists on your vehicle, those restrictions apply to anyone using that key, including you, if you accidentally grab the wrong key on your way out the door. A lot of Ford owners have had a genuinely confusing few minutes with a truck that wasn't behaving normally before they realized they'd grabbed the Mikey instead of the admin key. But let's talk about what Mikey does when it's used intentionally and properly. Because for families with younger drivers, it is one of the most powerful tools Ford has ever built into a vehicle. The driver using a Mikey cannot remove the restrictions on their own, cannot disable them, cannot work around them. The only key that can modify or clear a Mikey is the admin key, which stays with you. It's not a request for safer behavior. It's a system that enforces it quietly and continuously. Here's what you should do. Go into your settings menu and pull up the Mikey section. Read through exactly what restrictions are currently active and which keys are affected. If you want to clear everything and start fresh, your admin key can do that. If you're planning to hand your truck to a less experienced driver and you haven't explored Mikey yet, start today. Just make sure you know precisely what you've set up, because Mikey works whether you remember configuring it or not. Function #2. Pro Trailer Backup Assist, the feature that makes backing a trailer almost effortless. Let's be honest about something. Backing up a trailer is one of those skills that sounds straightforward right up until you're actually doing it. The steering logic is completely counterintuitive. Every instinct in your hands fights against what the trailer actually needs. What should be a clean 30-second maneuver turns into a grinding, frustrating multi-point struggle, usually in front of a crowd of people who are all watching. Pro Trailer Backup Assist exists to solve this, and the number of Ford owners who already have this feature on their truck and have never once used it is genuinely staggering. Here's how it works, stripped down to the essentials. Instead of wrestling with the steering wheel and trying to reverse your brain's normal directional logic, you turn a small knob on the dashboard. Turn it left, the trailer goes left. Turn it right, the trailer goes right. The truck reads your input and moves the steering wheel itself. Your only other job is controlling your speed with the brake pedal. That's the entire operation. A skill that normally takes years of practice to feel genuinely confident with becomes something almost anyone can manage competently on their very first attempt. The truck is doing the hard part. You're just telling it where you want the trailer to go. Here's what you should do. If your Ford has the Pro Trailer Backup Assist knob on the dashboard, start by going through the trailer setup process in your sync system. Enter your trailer's details so the system knows what it's working with. Then find an empty lot and practice before you need to use it in a real situation with real stakes. If you tow more than one trailer, you can save multiple trailer profiles so you don't have to recalibrate every time you switch rigs. For anyone who tows regularly, this is one of those features that genuinely changes how the whole experience feels. Function #1. Pro Power Onboard, the built-in generator most Ford owners don't know they have. This is the one that earns the top spot without any competition. And once you fully understand what it means, you will look at your truck and realize it has been capable of something remarkable this entire time. something you may have been going out of your way to solve with additional equipment you never needed to buy. Pro Power Onboard turns your Ford truck into a functional mobile generator, not a workaround, not a partial solution, not a trickle charger for small devices. Your truck has power outlets built directly into the truck bed and the interior cabin that can run real equipment. Power tools, work lights, a full-size fan, a mini fridge, a laptop, multiple phone and device chargers simultaneously. Depending on your specific configuration, you have access to anywhere from 2,000 watts to 7,200 watts of available power output. Let that sink in for a moment. At the upper end of that range, you're looking at the output of a serious standalone generator housed in a truck you are already going to drive to the job site or the campsite anyway. Think about what this means at a job site with no active power supply nearby, no running extension cords from a distant outlet, no hauling a separate generator, wrestling it out of a trailer, filling it with gas, pulling a cord, managing the noise. Your truck is already there. The fuel is already in it. The power is already available. You press one button and you're operational. Think about what this means on a camping trip where you want real electricity, lights, a fan, a coffee maker in the morning, without adding a generator to everything else you're already managing. Think about what it means during a power outage at home, where you need to keep something important running until the grid comes back. The truck is doing nothing different than it was already doing. It's just also powering your equipment at the same time. Here's what you should do. Look for the Pro Power Onboard button inside your cab. On most trucks, it's clearly labeled. Press it, and the outlets in the bed and cabin go live. Before you start running equipment, check your specific truck's rated wattage output. Running something that draws more than your system can handle will trip the breaker rather than cause damage, but knowing your limit in advance means you plan correctly from the start. Then the next time you head to a job site, a campsite, or anywhere you'd normally be thinking about whether to bring a separate generator, don't. Your Ford may have already made that decision for you. Outro. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you now know 10 things about your Ford that most owners never discover. Not because they're complicated, not because they're buried somewhere inaccessible. They're already in your truck right now, fully built in, waiting for someone to simply turn them on and use them. Your Ford was always capable of more than you knew. Now you know. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and turn on the bell so you catch every video we put out. We go deep on Ford features, real owner advice, and practical knowledge that makes your truck work harder for you every single day you drive it. Now here's my question, and I genuinely want your answer in the comments below. Which one of these 10 functions hit you hardest today? Pick one and tell me why. A. Pro Power Onboard absolutely broke my brain. I have been paying for and hauling a separate generator to job sites for years, and my truck could have been doing that the whole time. I am genuinely annoyed right now. B. Mikey. I have a younger driver in my household, and I am setting this up today. I didn't even know Ford gave me the ability to do this, and I needed it badly. C. The phone as a key backup pin is the one that got me, because I have been using that feature for months and I never set up the backup code. I just realized how close I've been to being completely stranded. Drop your answer below. I read every single comment. And if you know another Ford owner who's been driving around with 10 unused superpowers sitting in their truck, send them this video. The best tools are always the ones you actually know how to use. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.